Hello, Guardians. Welcome to Tower Casuals, the Destiny podcast. I am one of your hosts, Corey Deering, and alongside me, as always, is the Jotun Toten, Vault Dwelling, Super Hunter himself, Josh Finney.
Man, it has been a week, Corey.
I know, and it's only Thursday, Josh.
It's only Thursday. Thank God it's Thursday.
Right? Gosh.
Yeah, so I just want to jump into something tonight before we jump into the more fun stuff. We have a slightly serious topic to talk about right here off the top. Corey and I kind of waited if we were going to bring this up tonight. Ultimately, kind of decided we would wade into it a little bit because Bungie was a part of Activision for so long, and they are one of the few companies that's like really publicly talked today about the news that broke late last night regarding Activision Blizzard. I'm not going to get into a lot of the stuff that is in the lawsuit. The bottom line is the state of California is suing Activision Blizzard for repeated harassment and discrimination towards women. There is some truly heinous shit in there. I would not recommend reading news articles about it without knowing exactly what you're getting into. Very strong, trigger warning, especially for women when you go to read it. I mean, it's a little hard to talk about even. But we're not going to wade into it. Not just because this is a Destiny show, but because this is something that I pretty strongly believe that as straight white men, we should not be wading into right now. That there are people out there who have done loads better reporting on it than us. I encourage everyone to read the initial story from Bloomberg Law. I know IGN did a really good write-up.
Game Informer did a really good write-up.
Game Informer did an awesome one. I saw some good stuff at Polygon and Kotaku also. Just really, really, really great work out there right now. There's a lot of Twitter threads about it from people who either have worked there in the past or who currently work there, some of whom are very prominent voices in the industry. But it's the same discussion that we've had to have in the past regarding, not in this particular show, but on Boss Rush in general, about Ubisoft's explosive allegations last year about, and they getting dragged again recently because their CEO Yves still does not seem to understand what they did wrong and what they are continuing to do wrong. The stuff that happened at Riot about a year and a half ago. This is simply the latest major one. This lawsuit comes after a 2-year investigation. So they were investigating back.
I can't believe none of this has come out before then.
Yeah.
You think that's why there was some weird mass exodus from Blizzard essentially last year?
I'm not sure, and I don't really want to speculate. I got really upset earlier today. Somebody that I really respect in the industry who produces really good threads on Twitter. I don't want to name him publicly. I don't want to drag anybody through the mud for something that I don't think was meant maliciously. Because we got this story last night, and then we got another story this morning about the Warcraft 3 remake. Just how a lot of the claims that are in this lawsuit stem from that team and the World of Warcraft teams. And that this is why, it's constantly being delayed, why it hasn't shipped, why, they were taking pre-orders for a game that they knew was nowhere near done, et cetera, et cetera. And somebody responded to them and responded to Jason Schreier, who, published both of these stories when they initially happened, and says, hey, with all the drama surrounding the Warcraft team, with all the really bad press and stuff lately, it's at Blizzard, it seems like it's all centered on Warcraft. Can you give me any insight as to how Overwatch 2 is coming along? With the Jeff Kaplan departure and all of this, I'm getting really worried about the future of that franchise, and it's one of my favorite IPs from last generation. I saw that and was fucking dumbfounded. I could not believe that somebody actually asked that. And it's not some rando with 200 followers. Right. This is a dude who has 23,000 followers that's asking this question. And I'm just it took everything in me, and I really could not believe. I thought I misread it, so I went back and looked at it this evening. 120 likes on that. And there's a few replies, but nothing is essentially asking this person, what the fuck is wrong with you? If you are worrying about IP right now, or about the status of games, or like, oh my God, is this going to impact their studio production pipeline? I'm going to say respectfully to you, as nicely as I can, fuck off. And then I want you to keep fucking off as far off as you possibly can. Because this is not the time or the place for this. These are very serious situations. This isn't there. Yes, there is a lot in this lawsuit about compensation, about promotions, about being given opportunities that, men are. And then there's some really, really disturbing stuff in there that they go into pretty explicit detail on, because this is a lawsuit. Mm-hmm. Surely the discovery phase of the trial is going to add even more to this. Activision is already claiming that, like, this isn't like, yeah, there was a bad culture, but all of this is just completely untrue. Well, which one is it?
Yeah.
You've proven now we can't trust anything you have to say. Again, numerous people in the industry who have worked there before or who have left have spoken out today. And then there are others who say, if you think this is only happening at Activision, at Ubisoft, you are out of your mind. You are simply out of your mind if you think that is the only place that this is happening. Right. So to kind of circle back, I want to share the thread that Bungie wrote this afternoon. Since, we do know the Bungie split happened about 2 years ago. A little over 2 years ago, I guess. It was after Forsaken, but before Shadowkeep. So it was roughly right around the time that Season of Opulence came out. Mm-hmm. Maybe slightly before or after. I don't remember the exact time frame, but it was right around summer 2019. So about the time these claims started being investigated. This is the Bungie response to all of this, without explicitly naming Activision Blizzard. Bungie is built on empowering our people no matter who they are, where they are from, or how they identify. We have a responsibility to acknowledge, reflect, and do what we can to push back on a persistent culture of harassment, abuse, and inequality that exists in our industry. It is our responsibility to ensure this type of behavior is not tolerated at Bungie on any level, and that we never excuse it or sweep it under the rug. While the accounts in this week's news are difficult to read, we hope they will lead to justice, awareness, and accountability. We have a zero-tolerance policy for environments that support this toxic culture, and we are committed to rooting them out to defend those who are at risk. Women, people of color, and underrepresented communities have nothing to gain by reliving their trauma. We believe them when they come forward with reports of abuse or harassment. We don't pretend that Bungie is perfect and that no one has experienced harassment while working here, but we will not tolerate it and will confront it head on. And we will continue to do the work every day to be better. Our goal is to continue to improve the experience for everyone working at Bungie and do our part to make the gaming industry as a whole to be more welcoming and more inclusive. I think it's a really, really well-worded statement, frankly, from a company that we've seen many times is on the forefront of social justice issues. They took a pretty hardline stance last year on Black Lives Matter in the wake of the George Floyd shooting and the protests that we had across the country. They, constantly do stuff during Pride Month. They have done, I believe they did something for International Women's Day this year as well. And Bungie is one of those studios I feel like they acknowledge it here. No studio is perfect. We know Bungie's had some stuff in the past. There were some allegations that came up that, just like overlooking people of color before at Bungie, specifically with Asian Americans. That has happened. That was a story in the New York Times. I believe it was either earlier this summer or last summer that I was actually not made aware of until this afternoon. Yeah. And I'm glad that I went and read some of that today. No studio is immune from this, but I think this is the time for those of us who are in a position of privilege, such as Corey and myself, to sit back and not dictate the conversation. We have to get to a point where straight white guys are not the ones calling all the shots, because nothing changes then. Abusers will leave the studio they're at. They'll get chased out of there. They'll leave the studio. They'll go join somewhere else and be in a position of power, and they will keep doing this. It is a cycle that continues. Even if you root them out at one company, they're going to go somewhere else. We've seen it, we've seen it time and time again, not just in this industry. We've seen it happen in big tech. We've seen it in film. We've seen it in TV. We've seen it in journalism. We've seen it everywhere. Like, it is not something that is exclusive to video games. But this is what we talk about when we say that diversity and inclusion is so important. You put underrepresented people in, women, people of color, gay people, lesbians, bisexual, trans. Like, we put people like that, we elevate people like that into positions of power, because then that makes a better environment for everybody, not just for the lucky few that happened, or, for those of us who happen to be born a certain way, who identify a certain way. And that's what we talk about. Like, when we talk about at Boss Rush about being better and about being inclusive. That's the kind of stuff we talk about. Mm-hmm. You should never be marginalized or harassed because of what gender you are, what skin color you are. We've
had to remove people for that, right? Like, we've been very public and honest about it. Like,
this is not a new topic on this show.
No. We've removed people from our Discord. We've removed people from Facebook. We've removed people from our people that we work with, shows, stuff, right? Like, we've done that, all of that. And it sucks, like, being caught in the middle of something like that sucks. Obviously, what we're doing is not on as grand a scale as this, but I can assure you, it sucks.
It starts small, though. It starts at the community level,
right?
And if we're not doing our part to foster a welcoming community, if we weren't doing our part, I wouldn't want any part of it.
Even if we aren't doing it, if we're ignoring it, we're allowing it to happen, and that's guilty by association, essentially. Like, it's just like you got to stop it at the source. You got to, and you're not going to catch them all, but when we're small like we are, like, we can definitely have a bigger impact on changing the outcome, changing the look, changing the overall. What am I trying to say here? Just the overall appearance and promote people who aren't us, right? So,
right.
And I think for the most part we've done a pretty decent job at that. But again, we're speaking from a different perspective than most people. So,
right. We are fortunate to be able to talk about it like we are.
Yeah.
We have never been on the receiving end of that. We never will be. And I think it's the responsibility of those people to be the ones to speak up, lead the charge for change, and give those reins to people who need to be in those positions. It does not need to be us.
Right.
It needs to be these undervalued voices. The world does not need more of us setting precedent and setting policy. It needs more of all of us. Mm-hmm. And this goes beyond a video game. This goes beyond Activision. This goes beyond Riot, beyond Ubisoft, beyond Bungie. This goes beyond Destiny. Like, we've seen problems in the Destiny community for a long time. Mm-hmm. Last summer was kind of like this cathartic moment of chasing a ton of abusers out of this community.
Right.
We've talked about those pretty at length here. If you go back to the early episodes of Tower Casuals, that was a lot of what we talked about last summer. Mm-hmm. And thank God this community has seemed to get a lot better. There is always work to be done. The work will literally never, ever end. There will be bigots. There will be harassers. There will be, one of the things in the complaint is, it's a frat boy culture that was permeated there. There will always be those things. But if you're not doing the work on the surface level, if you're not checking your friends, one of your friends says something that's, bigoted or derogatory, if you're not calling them out on that, you're not doing the job. You're not doing the work.
Right.
Okay? Like, it starts at home, right? It starts at home. It starts in your friend circle, and that spreads outward. You're going to surround yourself with like-minded people inherently. Like, you're going to do that subconsciously. It's on all of us to make sure we're checking each other. Which something saying like, "Hey, man, that's not cool. Like, you really shouldn't talk that way. You shouldn't act that way towards others," really goes a long way. So, yeah. Corey, do you have any more thoughts before we move on to some Destiny topics?
Just one last thing. If you find yourself in a position where this is happening and you are, you're in a position to do something about it, please do. Right? Like, it's about taking the first step right? It's always about taking the first step. That first step may be uncomfortable to you. It may feel like scary, but it makes the world a better place. So just take the first step. Be a leader. Be an ally. Be an ear for someone who needs it. Right? It's not that hard to take the first step, and to, you know, what we always say is to be better. So
yeah.
This kind of sucks. Obviously, this is a terrible situation.
Oh, definitely sucks.
It's a terrible situation. I hope everyone that was affected gets their justice. You know, and you know, sometimes justice isn't exactly what they deserve, but you know, it's everyone's in a crappy situation that had to go through this, right? Like they deserve more than just a piece of paper that says, oh, you know, the state is suing them, right? Like, but I don't know. This is a huge. These
are scars that are going to stay with them forever.
Yeah, this is a huge topic that we could probably spend hours, days dissecting and talking about. I just want to encourage everybody to be a little bit better, be kind. You know, I always will echo
up for those who cannot speak up for themselves.
I will echo friend of show Cam Hawkins. You've seen him on a bunch of shows like everywhere, right? Like it costs nothing to be kind. So just be kind. Be nice to your neighbor. Be nice to your everyone, right? Just it costs nothing. So
agreed.
Well, Josh.
Well, yeah, with that, Corey, we're gonna excuse me. We're gonna kind of swerve into some Destiny topics. Yeah.
Our Sparrow got hit by a sticky grenade. Swerving.
I just flew off my mini Sparrow.
Flipping.
My Scooty Puff just flew off the edge of the map. We have a few small topics. Nothing major tonight. Just some small, like, kind of bullet point topics that I've seen talked about in the community a lot. Some of the stuff is stuff that we talked about, 5-6 months ago, back towards the beginning of Chosen, or heck, even maybe early April. We talked about some of these. And I want to circle back to a few smaller topics. We're going to start with the TWAB, though. There's not going to be a lot in the TWAB, frankly. Probably over the next couple of weeks. I don't anticipate there being a lot next week. We might start getting some stuff the week after, since that'll be the lead into the epilogue of the season. I do think once we hit August, it's going to start picking up again, especially as we start careening towards the 24th. There was some leaked stuff this week, more that, if it's real, seems to support the paste bin leak that we talked about last week. We're not going to get into it. It is highly suspect, but also, if it is real, it has major story ramifications. And as we said, we're never going to talk about story ramifications on this pod, unless it is something that is actively in the game, and not even just in the API. Like, it has to be something we can actually physically play, or that Bungie themselves has revealed. If that ends up being real, again, I've got the paste bin postmarked. I've got the image I'm talking about. It's all over. Like, pretty much any Destiny Discord or subreddit you go to, it's probably been shared there. I have that bookmarked as well. If this is all real, we'll bring it up. We'll talk about it. And if it's not, we'll all have a good laugh when the Witch Queen comes out. If it's not real, we may be able to have a good laugh as early as the 24th.
I hope this image, if it's not real, this image you sent me in the chat. I hope, if it's not real, they make a joke out of it, at least.
I hope they absolutely reference it if it's not real, because it's been shared far too wide at this point.
Yeah.
I hope that they make a joke about it at the reveal.
Yeah. I think it's funny.
Our big thing in the TWAB this week, we have a little bit about Nightfalls. We have an update to Transmog. So for Transmog, we have to currently collect Synth Strand, which is really, really, really aggravating. Which is what you have to use to purchase the bounties from Ada. Instead, you now only have to pay 10,000 glimmer per transmog bounty. You're still limited to 10 per season, which I think is absolutely just ridiculous that we're limited to that. If you're going to make it a limit, at least make it like a big limit.
Yeah.
I think this is kind of hokey, personally.
Yeah, it's kind of.
Yeah, not a big fan, but effective at the start of Season 15, we will deprecate the passively earned world currency synth strand used to purchase armor synth bounties from Ada 1. In its place, these bounties will be purchasable for 10,000 glimmer. Our hope is that this change reduces the time needed to earn your 10 synth weave tokens per class per season. It will 100% do that, and it takes away the pain of having to delete a bounty that sucks. Because like I bought a bounty the other day on accident on a character that 100% I was not going to be able to do the bounty on accident.
Yeah.
And so that was 150 tokens down the tubes. Because of that, I likely will not finish my last 2 or 3 for the season.
Oh no.
And that's okay. This is like the 3rd time I've deleted a bounty. Just because it's been like completely unappealing to me or unappetizing, like it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. It is what it is. Removing the currency also frees up a slot in consumables inventory bucket, a bucket that could be full for those of you carrying around a large quantity of items. And they're hoping this reduces the complexity, because I was trying to explain this to a friend of the show, Ray Apollo, when he logged in the other day and was playing with me. And he was like, what the hell do I do with all of this? And I was trying to explain it, and it was very confusing to him. So I am still going to, make him suffer through the initial quest to get those 10 free tokens per class and your 10 that can be used on any class. And I want to stick that out with him and then be like, all right, it's way easier next season now. If you want to just get them for Crucible, you can just get them. I personally like doing the Crucible and Gambit ones, personally. I think they're way easier to get them. Maybe not Gambit, but the Crucible one's definitely easier to get done. They do say here at the end that they're going to continue to monitor the conversation about the use of armor synth as Season 15 rolls out. I think that means that they're open to getting rid of Synth Strand altogether, because it fucking sucks.
Yeah.
It's a terrible system. I think it's stupid. Just let me finish the bounty and get my thing. Why do we need another step for me to go back to the tower? Also,
this is like a Destiny Year 1 problem.
This is a Destiny 1 Year 1
That's
problem.
what I'm saying. That's
like, but this is also like Black Armory bullshit that we used to have to do when you would finish Ada's bounties. You still had to go back to her for stuff. Like, I don't know why they're so desperate for us to go talk to her. Is she that lonely in the tower?
I guess. I mean, she's in that huge room all by herself. I guess. She's just a little lonely, Josh. She's just a little lonely. She just wants your visit.
Oh man, it's rough. I think that 10 tokens is too little. I mean, if you're going to put a cap, at least make it like 20 or 25.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. They want you to cave and like buy some tokens, but man, it feels bad. Like, let me do 10 on each character or something, but let me use them on any character. I don't know. There's plenty of things. Like, I would 100% log in and do some bounties on my Titan or my Warlock if I could use the tokens anywhere.
Yeah.
But it feels bad, and I do think this is something they're going to end up changing probably partway through the season next season, with it being like a 6-month season.
Yeah.
I could see this being a change that, I mean, maybe they can't, because that would be removing another entire currency. Maybe it has to wait for the Witch Queen, but I can't see how they say, oh yeah, you can only do 10 during the longest season we will have ever produced.
Yeah.
That just feels absurd to me. So we'll see. Bungie store is updated. It actually looks really sleek now. I really like the new layout. If you reset your password by the 31st of July, if you already had an account, you can get a new emblem from them. So I have to remember my old password and my login. Because I want this Bungie emblem as a fun freebie.
Just store.bungie.com, right?
I believe so.
I want to
No,
see.
It's bungiestore.com.
Oh.
Bungiestore.com. Yeah.
It was close.
Yeah. I can't wait to buy the new Grimoire book, personally.
I know. God.
I'm holding out until it's...
Well, on Amazon it's going to be like $20 cheaper at some point.
That's why I'm waiting. I always order mine from Amazon. I may have to wait a couple extra weeks, but I get it for like half the price. Definitely holding out for that. I did order that Season of the Splicer hoodie.
Ooh.
However, I am really, really, really stoked for that. I want that. I may update on what Josh is spending his ridiculous amount of money on.
Too bad you can't use your Bright Dust for that.
Oh, dude. Okay, so Bright Dust update. I hit 90K this week.
Aren't you excited?
No, because it made me realize I spend entirely too much time in this game. I hit 90, and then I immediately spent 3,000 of it on the inflatable shark ghost.
I feel like there's a little bit of Bright Dust in Josh's pants right now. He's so excited.
There's not any Bright Dust. There might be some silver. Yeah, you like that. Moving on to actual tangible things in game, though. Nightfall. So next week, if you're listening to this the day that we're recording it or day after we're recording it, Tuesday at Reset on the 20... the 26th?
Reset. Yeah.
I couldn't get my calendar to pull up. No, 27th. July 27th. I was off by a day.
July 27th is the...
July 27th. Double Nightfall rewards.
Ooh.
Which will be the mixed bag of rewards from last season. So any of the following: Palindrome, Shadow Price, or Swarm can drop. So that's the hand cannon, the 450 auto rifle, and the LMG, respectively, can drop. And it's double reward, so it's a great opportunity to go in there and farm it. Really, really encourage you, if you like hand cannons, go get a good Palindrome. I grinded a bunch out with... Nerd Generalist and Colonel Panic last season on double rewards for palindromes, for Shadow Price. We got some Shadow Prices, we got some Swarms, and we did it a lot at the beginning of this season for Plug 1. Not the Adept, but Plug 1. Of course, this will apply to Grandmasters. God willing, it's not a god-awful, horrible, hard Grandmaster next week, or that the catch-up node is live by that point, so we can all just run Inverted Spire 50 times.
God.
It's a great time to go restock your prisms and your golf balls. Double rewards on Master Nightfalls are just bonkers. You don't have to do Grandmaster, just on even Master is ridiculous. But with that also comes news about what we can expect in Season 15. Nightfall weapon rotation will be changing. Instead of 6 weapons in a 1-1-1-3 rotation, like the back half of this season, there will be 8 weapons total, and they will drop them in pairs with 1 new and 1 older weapon. The 2 new weapons are from Destiny 1, and they are a quite beloved shotgun and rocket launcher that were basically walking memes. The shotgun is one that should be familiar to any Destiny 1 player, the Comedian.
Ooh.
And the rocket launcher is the reward for doing the longest Crucible quest ever in Destiny 1, which is Hothead.
Ooh.
Each week, one of these new additions will be featured along with another weapon already in the pool. For example, Comedian and Shadow Price, Hothead, Hung Jury. The additions this season have the spicy perk combinations typical of Nightfall loot, including a couple perks not seen on these archetypes in the past.
Ooh.
I'm always up for Destiny 1 weapons or for Year 1 weapons to come into the game. I like it, and I think especially when you do it in things like Nightfall, it gives people like me who are tired of strikes reason to go grind Nightfalls. Especially on like double reward weeks.
Yeah.
I really like that. Like, I'm pretty happy. I have a couple Adept Shadow Price, or not Shadow Price, a couple Adept Hung Juries now that I got out of our Grandmaster runs on Inverted Spire this past week. I need to do some regular Nightfalls this week to get the Uzum Sniper from D1. The Grandmaster is not happening on Warden of Nothing.
No,
just because I know I'm going to get myself killed in the Skolas arena. That's where I will die.
Yeah,
repeatedly.
Yeah, that dude. God.
I don't know. I might get brave and a little drunk and go try it on like Saturday night or something after I do some trials.
I mean, yeah, but
I really like the Comedian is coming back. I did like Comedian in D1. I never got Hothead. I don't know a single person who ever got it personally.
I do, but that's just because my friend is he's just crazy. He plays like literally nonstop. You think you play a lot, he makes you look like you play like me. So yeah, it's crazy. he's just insane. But anyways.
So that's a change that's coming. I really like the focus that they've done on Nightfall loot. I think that's one of the best things they did, starting with Chosen, and I think it got even better this season personally. I like it. I like what they're planning next season. I think 2 weapons that can drop a week. It definitely incentivizes you to go grind a little bit more, right? Because there's always going to be, you're going to want the newer weapons. Like, most of us who've been doing Nightfalls for a while are going to be like, well, we don't care about getting Shadow Price or Swarm or Palindrome anymore. Like, I don't even care about getting a Plug One or a Hung Jury anymore because I've gotten plenty of rolls on those now at this point. Mm-hmm. I want the new weapons, and I want some Uzum snipers. And then this leads me to believe that they're probably going to retire the first 3 weapons, take them out of the pool for a while.
Yeah.
Which I think would be, by the time Witchwing comes out, they will have been in the pool for a full year with the extra long season added into the equation. So I think that's okay. Like, you've had a full year to grind these weapons out. Maybe you put them as, like, they have a chance to drop from, like, Zavala's Pinnacle that he gives you. They have, like, a small chance to drop from there, or you can, like, buy a roll from him for, like, 150 legendary shards or something. I don't know what an appropriate price is for a Nightfall exclusive weapon. Like, maybe you just, you remove them and you can earn them that way, or, you can pay for or you can get a chance for one to drop every rank up or something in the Zavala reputation. I don't know. Like, you reduce them that way, and then eventually that's how you build up these engrams for him, for Drifter, and for Shax. Right? Like, you may not get them to drop from playlists anymore, but you can still get, for example, a bottom dollar from a Gambit engram, which is what we've been asking for a long time.
Yeah.
And that's kind of one of the ones I wanted to bring up with we're talking about with the community. Is I've seen a lot of calls, especially this week, and I saw a lot this afternoon, saying, if you're going to do this, please start giving us weapons that are exclusive to these playlists in the engrams when we level up, the primes that you get for, like, every 3 sub levels. Totally agree with that. Think you should definitely get a chance to get them there, not just as match rewards, because, man, it feels really bad trying to go grind a bunch of Gambit and then not getting something to drop. Like, thankfully, they've increased the drop rates exponentially in Gambit. That was where I found it was especially a problem. But, like, can we also, like, get away from hand cannons in every activity, please?
Right. Cannons are just...
I'm tired of getting Survivors, Epitaphs, and bottom dollars every time I play a match.
God, they're everywhere, man. It's like...
everywhere. Watch, knowing our luck, it's going to be, like, the ritual weapon next season or something.
Yeah. God.
Which I would not be thrilled about.
Why do you got to put this on me, Josh? Like,
yeah, complaining aside, I do like the Nightfall rewards. I wish that the regular Vanguard weapons would drop from Nightfalls to, like, Third Axiom. I think that's a missed opportunity there for that and Royal Entry to not be dropping from Nightfalls, because if I'm already doing Nightfalls and grinding them out, I don't want to play Vanguard Strikes on top of that.
Yeah. For
a slim chance at one of those to drop.
Yeah. About that.
There's a neat little blog post that they did the other day. They started sharing some articles from, what different roles at Bungie do. A tools engineer was one of them yesterday. They do some level design, some dialogue design, things like that. We got something that people thought was a leak about Aphrodite coming back. Like, Aphrodite directly talking to us in a mission, and they had to immediately get on Twitter and be like, no, that's not what this is. Like, that was from Forsaken, we scrapped it, or from Rise of Iron, and we scrapped that mission, this and that. I don't know if I believe that necessarily, because Aphrodite's been missing for a while. We've talked about it on this show a couple times, how we really want her to come back. And we think that, like, I feel the story is careening towards Saladin stepping away from the banner for a little while.
Right.
So maybe let him take a big starring role in a season or something, and let Aphrodite come back and run it like she did in Rise of Iron.
Yeah.
I think that would be a really cool story beat. So there may be a little something to this. I don't know. It was a really neat article, though. I encourage you to go read it over on the Bungie Tech blog. I don't think there's really nothing else to cover in here, in my opinion. So cool. Of course, go check out the Artist of the Week, Movie of the Week. I always love looking at those personally.
Yeah. A lot of them are, the last couple of weeks especially, they've been really good, I feel like. This Artist of the Week one, though, is really cool. It looks really cool. With the Hunter kneeling, like that. It's the first one under Artist of the Week. That one looks really cool. There's a really cool one that I saw earlier this week, just because, I followed the topic Destiny on Twitter, which is good and bad sometimes.
It's definitely bad more than it is good.
I saw this really cool one of Mithrax and Saint teaming up to fight something, probably like the Hive. It was cool. It was really cool looking. So, but
yeah. So I wanted to bring up an article that I read this week. We like talking about this guy a lot. Paul Tassi. Paul Tassi over at Forbes. He wrote
Tassi
a piece.
Molassie.
Tassi Molassie. Please, nobody ever tell him that we call him that. Kind of want to bring up an article that he wrote. We talked pretty extensively back in April with Nerd Generalist and A1 Johnny when we had them on during Corey's break about how the hell do we fix Trials? Because Trials was just an unbearable situation. It has gotten drastically better, in my opinion, since the nerf of stasis. Now, keep in mind, I am playing on console. I'm not playing on PC. Everybody on PC, I'm so sorry. It has not gotten better for you. The cheating situation is still rampant. It's still really, really bad. I have been having a better time in Trials, though. I got that sweet Trials chest piece a couple weeks ago. Very stoked.
Nice.
Yes,
nice.
Very stoked. I am 2 pieces away. I am the helmet and the class item away from having the full set of this new Trials armor, because I'm not getting screwed out of it like I did the chest piece from the first set that we got. I have 6 months to get a helmet and a class item to drop for the bounty. Which,
that's
my luck means it isn't going to happen.
No, it has to happen.
Dude, I'm speaking it into existence. But I like Paul Tassi says. He says, in this, and I'm reading off my phone. I'm not reading off my computer. Bungie says they're going to change things with Trials of Osiris in the future. As of last week, they mentioned they were going to be making a Trials rank system, where if it's like the other ritual rank systems, may eliminate the concept of tokens and replace it with more consistent rewards. But that's only part of the problem with Trials right now, and there's a potentially significant fix for a core issue with the mode I've seen suggested roughly 1,000 times by now. Everyone pretty much has the same idea as to how Trials should be better catered towards, well, the not-so-good people, such as myself. The concept is relatively simple. Create a new type of Trials card. Determination Passage, Fortitude Passage, Perseverance, whatever you want to call it, but the idea is the same. The card, in theory, would allow an infinite number of losses as you march your way towards the 3, 5, and 7 win rewards the week. As in, you no longer are forced to reset the card at 3 losses. You can lose 5, 10, hell, 100 times if you need to in order to finally land enough wins to get at least those specific prizes. It solves a few core problems with Trials. It would increase the Trials of population at baseline if lower tier players feel like they have more of a shot at earning rewards past the pity bounty. Hello, I go for the pity bounty like every week. I agree with this. It potentially creates more even matches for those players if Bungie actually takes into account teams that are on multi-loss streaks and matches them with each other instead of your typical gilded triple flawless team you're destined to match with at least half the time in a traditional card. Again, another major problem that we've all complained about extensively on this show.
Yes.
Finally, literally nothing is being taken away from players who can still perform well in Trials. The pity card players would not be able to get the flawless chest or adept weapons, so the most and best prizes still go to those who are going flawless. This just creates a lower tier of players who are willing to crawl their way to 7 total wins, even if they slog through a ton of losses to get there. I personally think this is awesome. Mm-hmm. This is something I've seen gain a lot of traction in the community over the last month or two. Really, it's become one of the topics of the summer, I think. And that's why I kind of wanted to address it here today, because we are the type of players that this would be catered towards.
Right.
I do not care about getting an Adept Trials weapon.
Yeah.
I do not care about the Adept mods. There are other avenues for me to get some of these Adept mods, such as Grandmaster Nightfalls, and I believe in the future they will. I personally think they're going to add them to Adept raids and dungeons in the future. Yeah. There are plenty of other avenues to get that. I don't know if that... Personally, I don't think the Adept weapons give that much of a boost. It's that they have that boost, plus you can put the Adept mod on them.
Right.
I mean, I say that, but I use my Adept Shadow Price a lot, and I've used my Hung Jury a lot this week. They're good, but they don't feel like they're essential. I think just getting, like, the base version of a gun with, like, the best perks is much more important. So if you were to theoretically introduce something like this, and there was an actual rank-up system with Saint, I think that would be significantly better. Fucking tokens need to go. They need to be gone out of every single activity. I don't care what it is. That will be the last remaining activity with tokens. It needs to go.
Yeah.
It just does. We're done. I think right now, Trials as it exists is very discouraging for players who aren't at least somewhat competent in PvP to go into. I've matched it, Colonel and Nerd and I have gone in, or I've gone in with Johnny and our friend Mr. Hot Cheeks. Like, we've gone in, and people are just jumping off the edge of the map. They don't even wait to see if we're any good. They just are automatically jumping off. Because to them, that's better than having to match up against people who are potentially going to wipe the floor and teabag them every round.
Yeah. I mean...
And it's very bad that that's the point we're at in Trials right now, is that people don't feel like they can even try. This would be more welcoming, I feel.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Like, yeah, you're still going to get the people who are going to complain about it. They're still going to complain. And you will likely get players who will still pick up the Mercy passage and just jump off the edge. But I think this would be more welcoming and inclusive to those of us who play regular, like, Control, or we log in for Momentum or Breakthrough or something like that, to get in and be more casual with friends. Like, we're losing, but we're still having a good time because we're with buddies. Eventually, we're going to get matched up with somebody who's just as bad as us, and we're going to get another win on the card, and we're going to get a chance. But if you can have this passage all weekend, and like, okay, we'll slog out a couple matches today, we'll do a couple tomorrow, and like the last one on Monday. I think that would go a long way for a lot of people, myself included. And hey, you already have a couple rolls of, say, Messenger as the 7-win reward. You already have a couple rolls of that, and you don't really want another one? Cool, just do up through the 5-win. Make it a little bit easier on yourself. Like, a lot of us, myself, I care about getting the armor. I don't really care about a lot of the weapons.
Right.
Like, the main Trials weapons that are great to get are Messenger, Shayura's Wrath, which is the new SMG this season, and Igneous Hammer. That's about it. Like, Soulless Scar is okay, the sword.
Yeah, for me, it's kind of about the armor anyway. Like you said, like, I mean, like, the weapons are cool and stuff.
That's the bragging rights.
Yeah, but also, like, I want to look cool, and armor never really gets, obviously, doesn't get nerfed or buffed or anything. Like, these weapons, like, you could say, yeah, I got the Adept version, but then next season it could suck when they nerf that, archetype or whatever. And so, I don't know. I just think the armor always looks cool. I always like the Warlock Anubis helmet, especially. I always love the Warlock Trials armor.
Oh, it looks so good.
Yeah. Every time I see a new set, I'm like, man, I kind of wish I played a Warlock. But then I play a Warlock and I'm like, Then
you're like, no,
that jump.
That jump. But yeah, that was just kind of something I really wanted to bring up. Was I liked that article. I liked a lot of what it had to say.
It's a great article.
It's a conversation that needs to become more and more prevalent.
Yeah.
Within Bungie, because it's not a great look when the main person who communicates with us, DMG, which we love Damage, we love Dylan. Dylan's a great guy, but he posts all the time about going flawless in Trials or about getting to his 7 wins, and it's like, holy shit, you say you're not that good. Like, dude, have you seen how like 90% of us are in Trials? Like, please stop. Like, this is really aggravating to see from a community manager. Like, I get that you're trying to get all of us excited, but literally nobody gets excited for Trials now.
No.
Like a PC, you have people cheating, and you have people cheating so badly, they have like a fully automatic Wither Horde just spraying like a fucking super soaker across the map. Like, y'all got to get that anti-cheat working pretty quickly.
Yeah.
The other topic I wanted to bring up tonight. Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just imagining an automatic Wither Horde that's like, man, there's a lot of pools there that could.
It's the funniest video I've seen in a long time.
I'm gonna have to look that up at some point.
The final topic I wanted to bring up tonight, though, before we get into the lore corner, is about season passes. We touched on this a little bit, and having dabbled in some other games recently, namely Master Chief Collection, has really brought this to my attention, and it's been a topic that I've talked about with Nerd Generalist Colonel Panic a lot, is let us buy the old season passes and complete them at our leisure. You know, Infinite's going to let you do that. You can already do it in Master Chief Collection. You can choose which pass you want to progress at which time.
Yeah.
I think that would go a long way towards it. I think that would go... Because a lot of people are like, man, I really want to get those old armor ornaments, and I can't get them anymore, and it's really annoying. Like,
yeah, there's so many old ornaments that I would just really love to have. Especially, like, I mean, well, okay, maybe not last season, because those were, like, the balls.
Yeah, not the sex toys.
But, you know, there's been a lot of cool ornaments that I'm just like, man, I wish
so, I have a buddy who sat out Season of the Dawn, and he, like, one of his favorite characters ever is Saint 14.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have the Saint 14 armor.
Same. Like, I would have loved to have that. It's like, well, come on. Like, I can't, like, they don't sell it in the store. Like, they don't.
Which I get. I get it.
This would be, like, the perfect season to bring that back, by the way, since he's so centralized, right? I feel like that armor set would be really cool to at least sell in the store now. Because he's such a central figure of the season story.
Yeah, I feel like it's something that's going to happen eventually. Especially as they continue to add things. I think that it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure when it's going to happen. But as you continue to add more and more armor sets in, and like, I do like the idea of you're keeping these armor sets exclusive to those who buy and grind out that season pass. I do think that, to me, that's an important thing to do.
Yeah.
Because that gives us incentive. Like, I've made the case before for the value of the season pass. One set of armor ornaments with silver costs $15 in the store. A season pass is $10, and you not only get the game content, you also get, you get the set of armor for all three characters. You get the armor ornaments. You get all your materials. You get all the bright engrams that are in there. You usually get a ship, a sparrow, some emotes, some shaders. Like, I think it's a great, for $10. I think it's a great value personally.
Yeah,
and you have all that bright dust as well.
Yeah.
I think this would be a way for new players, like, just add a legacy section for season passes. Put it down where you have expansions now, and just like, if you've already finished it. Like, claim past rewards, but like only let people claim the cosmetics or the bright engrams they didn't claim, for instance.
Yeah.
Like, let them go through and claim that stuff. Like, let them claim any unclaimed rewards before. Like, right now you can still claim stuff from the previous season if you bought that pass up to what you unlocked through the app. But I would like to see the addition of these. Because I have friends who, sat out like an entire year, and now they're like, damn, I really wish I had some of that armor. Like, they look at some of the stuff that we had for, I don't know if it was necessarily our rivals. It may have been the Beyond Light launch season, the Season of the Hunt stuff. Like, man, I really wish I had like the Ahamkara bone armor for Warlocks, and I can never get it again, and it looks so good. And I agree. I think it's one of the best sets of armor in the game for Warlocks.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And you can't get it anymore. Like, that sucks.
Yeah, I mean, there was when my daughter was born, I sat out a few seasons, and it was like, well,
yeah,
I can't get that stuff back now, right? Like, I think that's when the season of Dawn or Worthy, maybe. I don't know. Whatever season the Saint 14 armor set was out, and I missed it. I just and it sucks. Like, there's armor sets that I wish I could go back and get, and they're just not there. And it would be really cool to get, do what Halo is doing and be able to choose which season pass you upgrade at what time. It seems like such a simple solution, and I think Halo figured it out.
Yeah, and it's funny to me that companies like, Microsoft, and because this is not just I said Microsoft, I meant to say Bungie. It's not a Bungie exclusive problem. Fortnite does the same. Fortnite does the same thing. Apex does the same thing. You can't go back and do. Unless something has radically changed, I do not believe you can go back and do past season passes for those games.
You can't. Do you think it's to keep people engaged though? Do you think it's to keep them coming back?
Oh, I think it's absolutely. I think an element of it absolutely is some forced FOMO.
Yeah.
Because I kind of get that way. That's why I try to get my pass out of the way as soon as possible in the season. That way, in case something happens, I have mine done. Mm-hmm. And with the challenges, it truly never has been easier to do it.
Yeah.
I think your question becomes, at what point, where do you stop, though? Like, yeah, you can let people get the season passes, or what's going to be next? Oh, let us go back and do the seasonal challenges for the extra bright test. Like, that, I think, is where I would draw the line and say, no, you want these passes? This is what you can grind out after you've done your stuff for this season. Like, you can turn on whatever you want, and, like, your challenges will apply to whatever current pass you have equipped, for instance. Like, I don't think that you should have access to, like, 3 seasons worth of challenges at that point. I think that's just absurd. Like, you will have people getting to, like, plus 40 in their artifact like it's nothing.
Right.
Like, you'll see people deliberately not buy passes.
Yeah.
And then the season that an expansion comes out or something, or a new raid comes out, they're just going to, like, power through it. They're going to power through, like, 4 passes in a week.
Yeah.
Like, you know, somebody is going to be insane enough to do that.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of what Bungie wants to prevent.
I think I logged in the other day to do gunsmith bounties just to, you know, get them over with, and I saw somebody that was like 472 in their season pass. I'm like, geez. And I'm sure that's kind of like, I don't know. I feel like I'm seeing more and more of that lately. I'm like, gosh, man, I wish I had that kind of time.
Yeah, and I mean, like, Bungie really doesn't have anything to lose here. Like, I know that part of the narrative we've heard is, well, Bungie probably doesn't want people, like, stocking up on prisms and cores and things like that. And it's like, well, if they just flow through it, and if they're not using that stuff, use it anyways. Like, their postmaster's going to overflow eventually.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the big deal is. You know, let people earn what they haven't earned. They're still paying you.
Yeah.
Like, they're getting a lot less value for their money, I think, because they didn't play the activities when it was up. They didn't do, you know, there's some stuff that's locked behind the activities in the seasons.
Right.
You know, some ships, some cosmetics, things like that. Like, but if people want to go grind out in their season pass, if this is all they want to play, let them do that.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. I don't care.
Yeah. I think if you're, like, legitimately doing this to earn stuff, like, I don't see the problem. Like, I really don't see the issue.
No, not even a little bit. I personally think it's a great idea. I think they cave sooner rather than later on this.
Oh yeah, yeah. I bet.
I think Witch Queen is probably when they do it.
Yeah, I bet they're working on a way right now to just try to figure it out.
I would truly hope so. I mean, there's no downside. Like, I think at most it would force you to re-release the legendary weapons that were a part of the past that you sunset. And, like, for instance, a couple of those weapons have already become available in the world loot pool, and were not sunset, such as Falling Guillotine. That was originally a season pass weapon.
Right.
Guillotine, the SMG from Season of the Worthy, the Y7, I think, was one. Yeah. It was either the SMG or the sidearm. One of those was exclusive to that.
It's the SMG.
SMG, okay. And then, like, for example, you have 4 weapons from Undying and Dawn that have been sunset now. I think that's a perfect excuse to be like, okay, hey, we're gonna bring, you know, we're gonna add Trophy Hunter to the loot pool. If I found out that Sniper was back, I'd go grind out so many events to get that.
Yeah,
because I love that sniper. That was the first of Warpole Sniper we had, and it carried me through a lot of encounters last year.
Yeah,
through all the raids we did last summer, I pretty much had that or Divinity on for my special. So I really, really, really want to see those, like that, Pluperfect. And there were a couple of others to bring back. I think that's a unique thing you could do. And hey, while we're at it, can we make the legendary weapon ornaments for the weapons that are not sunset available again? For those of us who didn't earn them the first time around, because there's literally an ornament for every single Gambit weapon in the game.
Yeah. For
Night Watch, for Gnawing Hunger, like, put them up for dust in the rotation. Put them back in our Bright Engrams. Like, I don't care what you guys do. Put them in the archive. I'll buy them for like 200 silver a piece, gladly.
This goes back to what we said a couple months ago. Like, why can't they put old, like, seasonal and event stuff in the pool for Bright Dust or right? Ingrams.
I mean, so I will say that adding the archive that they did, updating the archive this season is amazing. There's like 15 pages now.
Yeah.
In there for silver. Like, I get it. For people like me, though, sitting on a literal, like, smog-sized pile of bright dust, let me spend. I'm not going to.
Josh is literally Scrooge McDucking in this bright dust.
Dude, I've already said that I'm 100K pretty quickly in the next season. I'm going to hit up. By the time I finish my pass, I'll be at 100K. Mm-hmm. I plan on accumulating bright dust through the events through Festival of the Lost, through Dawning, through anything else they do with extra bright dust. And then when Witch Queen hits, I'm just going to start spending it. I'm going to go on spending sprees. I'm just going to buy stuff I have no intention of ever using to spend it, because I've got so much. I could literally buy everything in the store this season and probably still have like 30,000 bright dust left over.
Right.
Like, I will never allow myself to get that low, but I will spend 5 digits of bright dust in a heartbeat. Like, I will be buying the Dino armor for at least my Hunter.
Yeah.
I might buy it for my Warlock.
Oh, I'm buying it all. I'm gonna buy it all.
I may buy it, like, because I can buy so many sets with dust, and like everybody was like, "Oh, did you buy the Solstice armor?" It's like, no, I don't care about looking like that. I don't like looking fancy. I want the Dino armor, baby. You're not getting a dime out of me for that Dino armor.
You think the Dino armor is gonna have like ornaments to it?
No, I think that they are the ornaments.
Oh, they're ornaments? Yeah,
those are armor ornaments. Yeah,
you buy them at
Eververse, they're ornaments.
Oh, I thought they were.
No,
I don't.
No, that's going to be armor ornaments. They want you to pay for that.
Okay, for some reason I thought they were just like the. Okay, wow. That was my bad, everybody. Wow, I feel dumb. It's fine. I am.
I am 100% buying it with bright. That's only 6,000 though. I gotta find other things to spend this stuff on.
It's true. It's very true. Maybe you'll spend it on that Spartan armor from Halo, the Halo crossover event.
God is my witness. If the Halo crossover happens, I will buy all 3 armor sets.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even if I never load up my Titan again, I'll still buy Spartan armor for it.
Gosh, man. I want to believe, but I don't want to spend another half hour talking about what Spartan armor is going on which class. So
right. So let's just go ahead and let's
get us out of here,
the
Josh.
lore corner this week. I gotta get good old Ada pulled up for us.
Yeah, Ada-1 they call her.
Ada-1. We're gonna talk a little bit more about Ada this week. I am like rapidly getting to the point where I'm starting to run out of things for this season though, so I'm gonna need them to hurry up and give me the lore for the rest of the season so I can talk about it. Because there are a few things that I cannot yet talk about. I need them to just hurry up and do it so I have something for the last couple of weeks.
Hurry up, Bungie!
Right. So pathfinding number 3, searching. Ada-1 tapped her foot impatiently while standing in the cryptarium. So can you do it? Rahul looked up lazily. Rahul, you fuck. Looked up lazily from his datapad and scowled. What a ridiculous question. Of course I am. It's a question of when I'll have the time. Ada's head tilted down. I didn't realize we were indulging in semantics. Rahul's response was arid as he tapped away on the device. There is no greater pleasure. Very well, when do you think you will have the time? Rahul placed a hand on his chin. The influx of data from Europa is significant, on top of the routine Guardian armament support, not to mention the open-ended nature of your query. The Cryptarch's eyes flitted as he thought through the problem. A conservative guess would be 2 to 3 weeks. Ada groaned. That's absurd. I cannot sit around for that long. You must understand, Rahul replied. I made no statements regarding what you should do with your time. Ada gripped the Cryptarch's desk. Fine, can I search for it myself? Rahul shook his head. Access to the classified archives is limited to sanctioned guardians, tower support staff, or the Vanguard themselves. You are none of those things. Ada scoffed. Don't be ridiculous. I've seen that drifter perusing this data on a weekly basis for his own amusement. There's no way. Rahul stammered and blushed. I assure you no such breach has occurred. Ada folded her arms as Rahul continued. And even if it had, one crime doesn't excuse another. Ada leaned forward assertively. I guess you will be of no help then. Rahul shrugged. Not for 2 to 3 weeks at the very least. Ada grunted and stormed off through the cryptarium's towering doors, their colorful display of colored glass shining on her shoulders, when she heard Rahul loudly call out after her. What were the names again that you were querying against? Rahul asked. Henriette Myron, Yuki Sato, and Helga Ramusen. Rahul's eyebrows lifted at the final name. You may be in luck. It seems our interests have overlapped.
Ooh.
Now, those 3 names, Marin, Sato, and Ramusen, are 3 of the founders of the Black Armory. They also have some awesome shaders that you can earn this season. They're back in the loot pool. So those of us who did not ever grind out for them during Black Armory can now get them.
Nice.
But again, bringing shit back that we didn't get that is now vaulted.
Yeah.
It's really funny because I see Black Armory shaders drop all the time now.
Yeah.
I like this. This is perfectly in character for Rahul, though. He is exactly what we've always thought he is. He's a smug, arrogant piece of shit.
Yeah.
Even the other NPCs hate him.
Yeah.
Oh, what ciphers? Rahul, you cannot be that busy. You give me nothing but dog shit every time I go to you. So don't forget the time you turned my legendaries into blues in year 1. I still haven't forgotten it.
Is he as bad as Hawthorne?
Oh, God, dude. I'd rather go to... I get better stuff from Hawthorne. I'd rather go to her.
Is he better than Shahan?
Man, that is hard. Yes, because...
Because Shahan is just the worst all the time.
Yeah, I'd rather talk to Rahul. At least Rahul is like in the tower where I could like yeet him off if he annoys me enough.
What if Shahan is side tangent from this lore piece? What if Shahan is a Professor Quirrell Harry Potter thing and he's actually Savathun?
For the next 6 months, every time we don't like an NPC, Corey and I are going to be like, what if this is Savathun? I can't wait for Witch Queen to finally come out and us forget to get no answers.
Everyone is Savathun.
Everyone is Savathun. Faux Cyrus, especially.
God, dude. It's like the more I watch of that, the more I'm like, dude, what is happening with Osiris?
I don't know. Our next piece, though, a guiding hand. Ada worked to keep pace with her Elixni guide, weaving through the dimly lit and angular maze of the Elixni Quarter. The blur of open windows and doors provided brief glimpses into their new guests' lives. Strips of purple fabric filled with wash basins. Jars of unknown food clinked against each other as they boiled in oversized pots, while parents softly clacked their mandibles and watched their infants nestled in gently used blankets. In the distance, attendants surrounded a humming servitor. The guide entered a basement-level dwelling. Ada followed as they pushed through a rough cotton curtain and stood in a warm and humid room laden with myriad rugs and carpet swatches. The city's ambient glow slipped in through a singular small window while candles flickered in a pastiche of glass vessels. A series of futons had been arranged in a semicircle in the middle of the room. There, a band of Elixni lounged on and against the furniture, all listening to the words of a single speaker seated on the floor. The air filled with guttural clicks and loud growls that Ada could make no sense of. She finally understood the performance to be over when the audience dispersed and her guide led her to sit beside the scribe. You are the one asking questions about Europa, are you not? About salvation, the scribe said. Ada frowned. You speak our language remarkably well. I had an unusual upbringing, the Elixni replied. I am Ito. What do you seek, Black Armorer? Ada sat on a futon, keeping a healthy distance from the Elixni. I'm searching for information from the Braytech facilities on Europa, and you believe we have this. I know some of your people defected from House Salvation. They may have seen something. Ito nodded. They have seen many things. One of my forebears, a great weaponsmith, worked at the Bray facilities on Europa, but I only know a fraction of what she was doing there. Ah, Ito said. Always about guns. Ada frowned. Your people are no strangers to weaponsmithing. Ito inhaled. True, and now improbably both our arsenals stand together in the shadow of the Great Machine. An alliance that makes it all the more logical for you to help me, Ada said. Ido placed her claws together. I will not help because I cannot. No mentions have been made of anything related to your armory founders. Ada's gaze dropped to the floor. Ido cocked her head and observed the exo. Such despair. Maybe this is about more than guns after all. Ada paused briefly. I lost something. A part of me. Ado nodded solemnly. Your forges, yes? My whole existence was tied to the armory, to those forges. Without them, I feel without purpose. Ida finished the thought, and Ada shook her head. This isn't... I'm not sure you could understand. Ido chuckled, a paternal grunt combined with clicking teeth. Our history is littered with the banners of lost houses. Most of us have worn more than one color, knelt before Kel after Kel, hoping they would be the last. She leaned closer to Ada. Elixni understand the fluidity of purpose very well. Fluidity implies a continuation, Ada replied. She sighed heavily. But it seems my path is coming to an end. Clicks resonated in Ido's jaw. Devil's was a dead house until Aramis made it new. Mithrax was dusk, and now he is light. Paths only end when we stop walking. Ada studied the Elixni. This is not the conversation I expected. If this settlement is going to work, it's probably best to break from old expectations, Ido said. Ada nodded and looked at the light softly radiating through the window. I've taken enough of your time. Thank you, she said, and confidently extended her arm with sincere gratitude. A claw hand landed softly on her shoulder as the Elixni instead thrust her data pad into Ada's outstretched hand. The befuddled exo quickly parsed the screen. This is something we found in the Bray archives. It's not what you were looking for, but it may help you decide where to walk next, Ido said. I'll look into it, I suppose. Good, Ido said, as Ada stood and slid the data pad under her arm. She hesitated. Are you sure it's a good idea to give me this? How will it look to your allies, you helping me like this? Ido chittered. It will look like unity. I really like this. I mean, we're circling back around to the Braytech facilities on Europa, which we thought we need to have done for a while. Mm-hmm. It's finally the Black Armory founders as being slightly more important to the overall story of the universe. The Forges just kind of existed out there as a thing that, even in their own season, it was just like, why are they here? Like, They have served almost no purpose.
Right.
Like, it's a seasonal mechanic, basically. It was the first seasonal thing we ever really got in the game.
Yeah.
And I like that we're kind of circling around this. This hints to me that we will likely get new weapon forges at some point.
Mm-hmm. You think we'll get one on Europa?
I think we'll get one on Europa, one or two on Europa. We'll probably get one on whatever the next planet is. And then maybe they reactivate the ones in the EDZ. Maybe. Those areas are still in the game.
Yeah.
I can see them doing that. You know, maybe they just change the area up a little bit.
Maybe we'll get one in the shuttle area of the Cosmodrome.
Yeah, maybe you get one in the Cosmodrome.
Like where Cade's stash is from that first mission.
If our theory of everybody moving to the helm continues, then, I mean, there'll be a small forge in there, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Reissuing Black Armory weapons is something that's going to happen. Maybe not next season, but definitely by the Witch Queen, I expect a suite, maybe like 4 to 5 of those weapons to come back. We got the armor back this season.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not unprecedented that we get it next, because it seems like they want to bring basically everything back into the loot pool now that they've gotten rid of it with new, of course, new perks, new roles, things like that. But with the exception of keeping Recluse, Mountaintop, and Beloved / Revoker out. Mm-hmm. That pretty much seems like what they needed to do, and they just had to wipe everything instead of just those 4 weapons.
Yeah.
And I mean, even those weapons have Loaded Question was another one, those have largely been brought back. We had Adored as the sniper with Season of the Hunt. We had Salvage Salvo in Chosen, and this season we had Null Composure, which just sucks. Plug 1 is definitely the new Loaded Question.
Yeah.
The speculation is that next season is likely going to be an SMG of some kind, if we're keeping with the pattern of, things that were problematic and got pulled. Mm-hmm. That or a shotgun, because a lot of people did really like Python. Talk about an auto rifle, because Breakneck was super popular there for a while.
Right.
Who knows? I think that those are all good guesses, personally. I could see a new sword, to kind of finally put falling Guillotine to bed for good.
Yeah.
Just kind of nerf Guillotine in the ground and be like, this is.
I mean, they've been nerfing it, and it's still like it's still like the second best sword in the game, behind like the
Crown Splitter.
Specific, yeah,
Crown Splitter, man, and that's a class special sword. So, I think that this is good though. This definitely allows for deeper lore threads, because the person she's talking to, the Elixir she's talking to, is Mithrax's daughter, Sigurito, who get into some of the lore surrounding her and some of the things that she shares, some of the information she shares about go and have your ghost scan things in the Elixir corner. I want to get into some of that in the coming weeks, continuing on from this, talk about a lot of the Elixir. Now we've covered most of the weapons and the lore books and whatnot. We'll still have one more piece from Beneath an Endless Night, and I may look into Achilles Weaves a Cocoon. I don't know if that's something we want to cover this season or not. I really need to read it cover to cover to make sure.
Yeah. I mean, if not, it's something we can cover next season, because it's.
Oh yeah, I mean, we'll definitely have time next season.
I don't know. Dude, what if they have like a new story beat every week for 6 months in the next season?
That would drive me nuts. I would actually hate that. I fully intend to be able to take a nice, good chunk off.
Yeah.
But I plan on doing it before Halo even comes out.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of games coming out that I want to check out, like Metroid Dread and Guardians of the Galaxy and Halo and.
Yeah, I mean, you and I basically have the same playlist, I think.
Yeah.
Like, I was just talking about this earlier today with Nerd and Colonel. We were kind of like trying to form up, what multiplayer games we want to play the rest of the year. And it's like, well, Ascent comes out next week. We really want to play Ascent. I want to play Flight Sim for at least a couple days.
Yeah.
Just to check it out.
I want to fly over Disney World and see if I can crash into Space Mountain, and then,
I literally said, I was like, I want to Disney World. I want to land on the road right outside of Hollywood Studios.
No, you want to fly through the monorail track on of the Contemporary Resort.
Oh my god, I'm going to have to get the tiniest plane possible. See if I can do it or not.
Yeah.
I want to fly over Disney World. I want to fly over my apartment. I want to see the old apartment we used to live at in Austin. See a couple of my friends' houses, things like that. I want to see how accurate it is. And I want to fly over some places that I know realistically I will never be able to afford to go, like Tokyo.
Yeah.
Or places that simply aren't safe to go, like Jerusalem and Cairo.
Yeah.
I'd like to fly over Baghdad, places like that. I'd like to fly over Moscow. It'd be a way for me to see Moscow again. I'd like to do all that. But beyond that, I mean, we got Psychonauts, 12 minutes.
Oh, yeah, Psychonauts comes out in, a month? Less than a month.
Yeah, Psychonauts and 12 minutes are both in August. We got, of course, the new... Psychonauts comes out literally the day after the new season starts.
Yeah.
So I'm going to blow through the story beats and then probably play a lot of Psychonauts before I go on vacation.
Yeah.
Rainbow Six got delayed, but no, I wasn't going to play that anyway.
Back 4 Blood is coming out.
Back 4 Blood, yeah, Back 4 Blood is a Game Pass game, so I'll play that for 2 days before I jump to Battlefield.
Yeah.
Guardians is going to be saved for Christmas at this point because I just simply don't have time to get to it.
Yeah.
Battlefield, Metroid Dread, like you said, that's the only thing I'm playing on my Switch this fall. Unpopular opinion.
I'm trying to figure out. I don't even remember what else is
Advance
coming out.
Wars. Advance Wars is the other one I'll play, but that's not until Christmas anyways.
Yeah, but December, that doesn't count.
Yeah.
Right, December.
Forza and Halo are obviously taking up November for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's going to be, and that's without Horizon Forbidden West coming out either.
Yeah.
If that comes out, okay, I got that. I got Life is Strange 3 that I really want to play.
I still think Horizon's getting pushed to next spring.
I mean, it's looking increasingly likely at this point.
Yeah.
But I really need it selfishly to come out this year so that I win my video game fantasy draft.
Yeah. Are you... By the way, speaking of Horizon, are you sad that you officially have the PlayStation 5 fat model now?
I'm not happy about it.
It's 8% lighter.
Man, I've been saying for a while that the second that disc ones are readily available, I'm buying a disc one and selling my digital one.
Yeah.
Because I really, really have realized how much I rely on buying disc-based games.
Yeah. If you
on sales.
If you sell your digital one, let me know. I mean, I know it's not going to be for a while, but Just let me know.
All right. Well, before we sit here and speculate about our video game calendars for the next everybody. 3 hours,
it's a slow time for Destiny. Okay,
it's a slow time for Destiny. When Halo fighting news comes out next week, we're probably talking about that.
Probably. It's fine. That's what we're here for. You come for the Destiny, you stay for the chit chat.
That's true.
Well, Josh, I say we get out of here.
Let's do it.
I thank you for your time tonight, Josh. I really appreciate you. Appreciate your Destiny knowledge and your brain and your upkeep. Been really busy for me the last couple weeks just because of work. I did get paid for my second job.
Nice.
Very excited about that.
Yeah.
So it's going towards my kid's first month of preschool, which is coming up soon.
Jesus.
I know. I want to thank everybody for watching. Remember, you can follow us on Twitter at Tower Casuals. You can email the show at towercasuals@gmail.com. Remember to like, subscribe, share, rate, and review wherever you listen to the show. If you listen on Apple Podcasts, leave us those 5 stars. Josh, where can we find you?
On Twitter, as always, at Josh_Finn, 2 N's. And Monday will be the last episode of How I Met Your Mother Q List before I take a good month off.
Yeah,
and then I'm coming back. We announced it. We've already announced it on a few shows, but Logan and I are coming back and doing Brooklyn Nine-Nine for the following season of Q List after Corey takes it over for a few weeks.
Yeah, I volunteered to do. Austin and I are doing the Mighty Ducks, so that's going to be fun. I actually just rewatched the first 2. Those first 2 movies, fun, really 90s sports movies.
Well, I joked with Logan that we needed to do. Me and him were joking around that we need to do movies of the 90s, like underappreciated movies of the 90s.
Yeah.
Q List, just pick 10 movies because it stemmed from us wanting to talk about the Home Alones.
Yeah. Oh,
I was like, well, if we do the 90s, we have to do Home Alone 3 because we have to do the campiest one. You have to do Space Jam. You have to do Air Bud. The Goofy movie.
God, Men in Black. Would you do
Angels in the Outfield was the 5th one we landed on.
Oh God, Angels in the Outfield.
Dude, Angels in the Outfield is a fucking classic. Dude, that is Joseph Gordon-Levitt and a chain-smoking Tony Danza in that movie.
I know. Remember when they tried to do Angels in the End Zone, the sequel?
I do. That was also briefly brought up. Dude, fucking Adrian Brody is in this movie. Matthew McConaughey is in it. I
know.
It is bonkers to see.
Danny Glover.
Dude, I want to do Muppet Treasure Island.
Yeah. Oh, dude, you should do a Q List for the Muppets.
Dude, okay, listen, if we ever did the Q List for the Muppets, you guys would have to cut me off during the Muppet movie because I will literally spend 3 hours explaining to you why it's one of the greatest goddamn forms of art that has ever been created on this planet. And why Rainbow Connection is one of the single greatest songs of our generation. Well, of the last few generations, but you get my point.
I got it. And
then I'm going to repeat all this when we get to the Jason Segel Muppets.
Oh, God. Dude, I love it.
It's going to be 4 episodes of me just being increasingly sad about how bad Muppets Take Manhattan and Muppet Treasure Island are.
Muppets Go to Space.
Muppets Go to Space. Muppets in Space was pretty bad, too. I do like Great Muppet Caper, though.
Yeah. Dude, that Jason Segel movie was so good.
It's amazing. Dude, I love that. If we do this, I got to do Muppet Vision in there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right?
Dude.
I got to talk about Muppet Vision. Again, just like at our 4-hour conversation. Corey, where can we find you?
You can find me at I am Corey in HD on
You started
Twitter.
Me on the Muppets.
I know. I can't help it. You can find me at I am Corey in HD on Twitter. You can find me on Nintendo Power Block. You can find me doing a bunch of other things on the Boss Rush Twitch channel. We're starting a new show called Timelined, where we're going to stream The Legend of Zelda timeline in timeline order.
Jesus Christ.
Who came up with that idea? I don't know, but you should go check it out and find out.
Not me.
So that's going to be on Wednesday nights from 8:30 to 11:30, I think. So check that out. I want to thank everybody for watching and or listening. We'll see you next time here on Tower Casuals. We love you. Goodbye.